So just to kind of summarize again and highlight the fact that in this mortgage situation, 3.45% is a great interest rate. But at the end of the day, when I look at the ratio of how much I paid the bank to how much I paid total, this is the ratio I get. Take a minute and see if you can write that in a sentence. This is making a sentence, but we've got a percentage. So we've got an opportunity to communicate this as a percentage. And I would say the template here is percent of whole is the part. That's kind of the template that you're filling in. You can fill in this number, this with words, and this with words. Okay, you need a little more time?
I don't know if it's right, but I got something.
Okay, go ahead.
I said 22% of the loan was paid over 15 years.
Okay, so you filled in percent with 22%. That's good. And what's the whole in this case?
Is it the loan?
Well, I would go back to the ratio framing here, right? And then think about the fact that this is part to whole, right? So the whole is after the word to. This part right here, this little set of words.
22% of 167,349.
Yes, but I want to say it in words because I don't want to just say three numbers. That's a true statement, but I want to describe and summarize what happened in this loan scenario. So I want to use the words that are after the two here. 22% of how much I paid is what?
22% is how much you paid to the bank.
Right. 22% of how much I paid is what went to the bank, right? There's lots of different ways you could frame this. I'm just using that structure to try to help you get the words in place, right? So for instance, let me just annotate this a little bit. This part here, how much I paid, went into place here in words, right? And then how much I paid the bank, that was the first part of the ratio. So it's the part that goes here. And I changed the framing of it a little bit and said it differently. But that's basically how you say, how you interpret a percentage. So for instance, you could also say, somebody else have a different way of saying it. Emily, what did you just say?
22% of how much you paid for the total house is what you paid to the bank.
Right? Or getting into something that maybe sounds more natural, 22% of my money went to the bank.
Oh, okay.
So I think that those templates are helpful because when you're writing a sentence and you're confused about the significance of it, it's nice to have a template to kind of say, okay, the percentage goes here, and then these words go here, and then these words go here. And then as you're looking at that, once that makes sense to you, then you can rephrase it and you can reframe it and you can say, okay, here's a better way to say that. Right? I think this is interesting. It's not, it doesn't always end up as 22%. It depends on the APR and the number of years and other things. But, you know, I mean, it's 22% of what you spent. And of course, if I compared that to the original loan amount, it would be even a higher percentage. So, you know, I mean, that would be a different way of talking about the loan. And again, I don't know why the banking system doesn't do this, but in mortgages, I suspect it's because people would be kind of astonished by how much these loans are costing and maybe not agree to them as much. I don't know. It's really good business for banks. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea to get a mortgage because, again, home ownership is important for building wealth and stability for a family. But, you know, it's a good business for them. Once you enter into that agreement with them, the only way you can control how much it costs and lower the cost is by trying to pay more aggressively. Okay.